Hello everyone, welcome to the Rage Traders. This is another banger of an NRL Supercoach video. I'm Wolf, or you can call me Harry, or you can call me the Rage Trader, whatever you want. But I've been thinking a lot, and boy, I can do it when I'm at home all day taking care of my son, thinking about Supercoach and what the right and next play is. And I did want to talk about Origin players, maybe some players even in that have been trade outs and trade targets, why I think they actually should be held or sold. So I did want to go through that heavily. So it is a bit of a trade heavy discussion. And also why I think it is super important right now to be actually preparing and getting your mind in the frame of how to be, or how to have your best squad and team for round 15, because I think personally I'm feeling it about round 15 is when we're going to get this gap of the well set up teams are just going to take apart everyone else, and you're going to see a massive gap. And already for me, I'm at 2.2k rank. I think I'm still 1,000 points behind first, which feels a bit rough. So what do I do now that's going to help me set up? One big topic I want to talk about today is Payne Haas and why I think he's either a sell or a hold. And I think the answer also depends on how your team is set up. So we will get into that. We're also going to be going through the draw and which teams I think are having a very nice draw coming into this period as well. Especially with Origin having no injuries, which is a blessing for a lot of us, which is good. Why we should be making moves as such. So first and foremost, hit the like button, subscribe, show some support. I really do appreciate it. And maybe let's start off with talking about some of the Origin players. Well, let's talk about this first. I want to talk about round 15. Now, if you haven't played Supercoach before, and this is your first fantasy ever, just Supercoach fantasy, pre-planning, especially for this buy period, is super immensely important. And you want to basically have as many players playing and reserved as possible to give you the best chance at the highest score possible. So for me, I got an 1127 in the first major buy round, which was the 295th highest point scoring. And that was because, and I'm not saying this to boast or anything, it's just facts. And I'm also telling you this, the reason why that happened was I was pre-planning 3 to 4 weeks beforehand. Okay. So in turn, you're pre-planning, and yes, injuries can happen, things can happen where it's feeling like you're set up and one thing happens and boom, it explodes and everything goes to crap. That is part of Supercoach. That is part of fantasy in general. But first and foremost, we need to be looking at round 15. And if you start getting into the habit of that, with trying to actually then get players that you think are going to be successful in round 13, 14, and then have them for 15, I think that is a massive play. Now, one thing we do in this is we try and have a fantasy team that is spread out. We don't want to have 4 or 5 people from the same team and then their buy comes along and all of a sudden we just get a really average score. So balancing your team for this period is really important. And I think where I want to start with is talking about who's playing. So Sharks versus St. George, Gold Coast versus Manly, Newcastle versus Roosters, North Queensland versus Dolphins, Souths versus Bulldogs. So the biggest trade this week is Kolomonatangi. Apologies if I pronounced that incorrectly. And he plays round 15. Now, the only risk with this guy, and now that we've seen Origin, it only is much of a less of a risk, is that he gets chosen for New South Wales Origin. The only way this is going to happen is if one of the key guys gets injured from his position that are already playing in the Origin team. Now, we still have Olakau'atu, but we are seeing Colo play prop at the moment. He's absolutely tearing it up. The good thing about this is everyone else that is going to be a high rank, or just everyone else that is still playing Supercoach and vastly high ranked, is going to own him as well. So you're going to be in the same boat as everyone. I don't think there's going to be many anti-potting Colo. I think you're absolutely crazy if you do. He had the highest base 98, which is just absurd. And he's just reveling in this position like he has before. So that is a thought process. So I think if you haven't in your trades at the moment gone out of your way and got Colo, you do need to do that. Now, by all means, if you think you can go to another player that will average higher than Colo, that will make you a bit more money than Colo, and actually perform better from now to the end of the fantasy, well then I am wrong and you are right, and you found a golden pod, and do it. Go with your gut. But as it stands, Colo to me is a must-have. Just looking at his recent stats, I think if you looked at them, you would probably agree with that. Now, the reason why I wanted to start with round 15 and not talking about, this round that's coming up, is because we actually have a few fullbacks here that are going to be huge, huge targets. So first of all, Tom Trbojevic, we know he's missing out this week. He's got a corky. This is the time he'd most probably be kind of firing, we'd hope. Do you go back there as a bit of a pod play? Maybe everyone, because this is what's going to happen. 100% this is going to happen. The people that have now brought in Trbojevic for the second time, and he's now got a corky again, there may be some people that trade him out and say, look, I'm just done. Fool me once, shame on, what is it? You know what I'm talking about. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That's it, right? That was a bit awkward. But maybe this is where people go, I'm not touching Turbo, and you finally go, you know what? I'm going to have a crack. And he could go ballistic. We don't know. Now, to match that in draw-wise, Manly come into still have a nice draw. They have Broncos and they have Newcastle away, Gold Coast away. And that's Gold Coast away is in 15, so Fermor won't be there. Then they have a bye into West Tigers, South and Bye. So this is quite a nice draw, okay? So we do need to be prepared that Turbo could be a pick. Now, if you have Fletcher Sharp in your fullbacks, this is only going to aid you because he has the CTW dual, which you could then flick him up and do something with one of these fullbacks that I'm speaking about. So next, I don't really want to talk about Ponga because I just think, I don't know, something's off with him. It's weird. But James Tedesco. So right now, if you're not an owner of James Tedesco like myself, I am very scared. Even if he has I'm so scared and he has 151 break even because I know he can do that in a click of a finger in 40 to 50 minutes of football. I'm praying Canberra just don't let a lot of points in, but man, am I scared. No Starling. It's just maybe Owen Paddy. Look, they still have a full strength team besides Starling. I just think this could be something that Tedesco has quite a good game in. Hopefully he gets around 70 to 100, but this is someone we need to target in round 15. The reason being in round 14, the Roosters have a bye, and this is why I'm not going to him now. I'm going to another certain fullback that I'll show you later with my trades. And the only reason my trades will be different than what you see tonight is, one, if any kind of weird thing happens with a certain player not backing up, maybe like Cleary or just something that really hurts me, maybe even Toya, but I expect them all to back up. And I'll discuss why I think certain Origin players are a hold and certain Origin players are let go. So in this round 15 period, we actually have a huge and vast amount of fullbacks we can go to. Next, we have North Queensland Scotty Drinkwater. Now, if you don't own him, his break-even is high. They do have a bit of an up and down draw, to be honest with you. I actually think that in my opinion, the three fullbacks we really want to have, maybe four. It's a tough thing to say, but it's Teddy, Paps. You have to put in Fletcher Sharp in there at the moment. And then I think it's a line between Gutho and Drinky. And I think Drinky in that period where whoever held him and he was getting, 350 points in 3 games or something like that, that is absolutely amazing. They are versing the West Tigers this week. Then they come into Melbourne. Then it's Dolphins. Then it's Roosters. Then it's Gold Coast. Then it's Melbourne and Bulldogs. I think you could easily hold him route 7 to 17 and plug him away in 18, or you could just hold him the whole season. I'm not going to sit here and say he's not going to do good. I'm scared in not owning him as well. So if you have Drinky, Teddy, Paps, maybe they're the 3. But yeah, it's just insane what is on offer in this round 15 period. So it is going to be really, really interesting to see. Now, remember, in round 16, Bulldogs have a bye, Manly have a bye, and Sharks have a bye. So that is something you need to sort of keep aware of. And then in round 17, the Roosters have a bye. But honestly, Roosters have just been really, really strong. I think they play every major, which is absolutely huge. And this is why I think Toya is a hold. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that he is going to get some rest at one point. And this is why I'm still holding on to Billy Smith as well, because I think Toya will have some rest. And I think there's a bit of money still to be made in Billy Smith, even though it hasn't been going their way or the left side a lot. But yeah, I'm taking a bit of a gamble there, but we'll get into that a bit later. So yeah, I'm just trying to get you in the mindset of what we need to be thinking about, how we need to be playing it. And in my opinion, this round 15 is a really, really crucial and big round. Now, let's talk about Payne Haas. So on my wrap-up video I did yesterday, I think it was, after the Origin, I said, you have to hold him. Now, if I asked you, who do you think the total points highest player is, or the player right now with the highest total points in fantasy, and you didn't know the answer, maybe take a guess now. If you said Paps, you're wrong. If you said Gutho, you're wrong. If you said Drinkwater, you're wrong. If you said Payne Haas, you're right. Now, that is something really, really crazy to say, that after 12 rounds, a front row forward is the highest scoring fantasy player in Supercoach at the moment, in a team that really hasn't been playing top-tier football, might I say. However, there's 2 things I want to discuss here, and I think they're really, really important. I was all for holding him. He might get a bit of minutes restriction. Maybe he plays 50 minutes. So be it. And you're like, cool, I've still got him. And this, for maybe 2-3 days, I was like, nah, I'm not trading him. It's just silly. And I was like, why are people trading him? I'm so confused by this. The first reason is maybe some people are going Payne Haas to Colo, and they are just banking a bit of cash. Definitely plausible. But when I sat back and thought about this, I said to myself, if I hold him, am I more scared about what other people are doing? And you have to remember, I'm in the top 2.5K as well. So not only am I thinking about everyone else in the competition, but I'm thinking about these players that are going to try and win it all. Am I scared about what they are doing? Is someone going Payne Haas straight to Tedesco type thing? Does that scare me? And the more I thought about it, I kind of came to the conclusion that if I don't trade him, I feel like I'm actually setting my team more backwards rather than forwards. Because now with what I'm doing, I open up not only my trades for this week, I not only am gaining players that are going to make me money, i.e. Colo, i.e. certain others. I've got 2 more trades and we'll go through it all. But I'm then also setting up my team for not only round 14, but round 15 and 16. So you can see here in my team currently, I have $260,800 in my salary. Now, before my trades, I had $3,000. This is all thanks to Payne Haas. And at this point in fantasy, especially when a lot of these cash cows that we were seeing early start drying up, like your Jenkins, like your Tamales, like your Billy Smiths, this is where these type of decisions get made. Now, not only does it allow you to set up your teams, this brings me to my second point about why I now think Payne Haas is a sell, is because it allows you to also get points through a pod. So not only can you set up a team, but it can allow you to actually break back, crack in the ranks, and maybe go for someone like a Christian Tuipulotu, or I think that's how you pronounce his name, for St. George, who's back this week. St. George have a nice little draw. Maybe you go for someone like a Dane Gagai, who doesn't have a huge ownership. Maybe from the money you've made, it gives you access to gaining even more money, but points from where other players in fantasy can't achieve. And this is why I came to the conclusion of him being traded. Now, third most, I also said to myself, okay, if I don't trade him, and let's say he plays a normal game this week, he is likely to get anywhere between, let's say, 70 to 100 points. Now, if I'm using that money to go to another fullback, like a Tedesco, like a Gutho, like a Drinkwater, isn't there way more value and way more ceiling in these guys, especially with their draws and who they're up against, where this could actually propel my points even more? And I think the answer is just yes. Now, again, if I can go Colo, Tedesco, and someone else through like crazy trades, there is way more value than just holding a player and keeping that beat. Yes, I am boosting. Yes, I have 19 trades left after this. And now, most probably, I would say after round 15, next week and round 15, I'm really going to be taking it slow. I think next week, I'm going to try and do one trade or two trades. And all I'm going to be doing is trying to get, or maybe just one trade next week. And then 15 do two. And then I'm like really going like slow-mo, like super slow. The aim is to get Tedesco in. I think he is a must-have by round 15, but this again allows me to do that. So if we look at my team now, and if you're just listening like you're in your car and the YouTube video's on, I'll try and explain this for you so you understand when I speak about it. But now that I have $260,000 left, hot tip, I'm trading out Payne Haas. I then can now set up and plan of how I'm going to get Tedesco or who I think is the next big fullback, because I still have Iongi. I am going to keep him for this week, even though he might lose a tiny bit of money. I think it's warranted when his break even is 54. Not to take a gamble on it, but I don't think it's a forced trade that needs to happen. So I'm going to sit with that. Now, again, I am really iffy on trading Jenkins, because he has Parramatta and West Tigers, and that's something I'm really, really scared about, because I have this inkling he could do super well. The only reason I'm not doing it is because he's outside Casey McLean, and Casey McLean and Bradman Best should live in the same unit complex together and just play footsies, because I'm sick of it. Okay, so going back to Payne Haas and what it does for you. So I think that covers everything in terms of why I think you should actually sell Payne Haas. Now, the last thing I will say about it, and I did mention this before, is that I also think the trade out for Payne Haas is completely team dependent. For example, when I said before that I was pre-planning for the first major buy round 3 to 4 weeks prior, that was me getting to Tapane. That was me getting Aaron Clark. That was me getting Hosking. That was me getting AFB. I was preparing my team to have little impact from having less players, essentially. So now that my 2RF and my FRF is just completely stacked, I don't want to get it at a point where I'm overloading that. So 3 or 4 of my reserves are sitting actually in that position, and then CTWs or fullbacks in reserves get left out. And that's what you're kind of seeing here. So you can see this week for me, obviously providing maybe one of these players get left out and they have a rest, like a Tino or, well, not Terrell May, he didn't make it, but if you do have Haas, that could happen as well. But you can see that I have 3 reserves in 2RF and FRF combined. So I have Tapane, Colo, and Hosking. So this only leaves me with one choice really on someone to choose out of everything else. And with Haas there as well, it just got to a point where I was like, I kind of feel like I'm just diving way too deep here, and I need to start focusing on CTW, fullback, etc. So if you are someone that is weak in the FRF, this is when I could say to you, okay, maybe you should hold on to Haas here. And I think that would be the only person I would say it to, is if you don't have Joe, if you don't have AFB, you don't have Aaron Clark, and you only have Terrell May and Payne Haas, that's when I think you either go Haas to Colo and just flick up a Nuffy. But again, I think you're just going May and Haas there. So that's one reason I would say not to sell if your FRF and 2RF is really, really dry. That's enough about Payne Haas. Let me know in the comments what you think about that, because that's quite an in-depth discussion. And again, I could be completely wrong. That's the way I'm coming at it from, and I just wanted to give you an insight of how my brain is thinking around it. And again, it could be completely incorrect. All right, so apologies if it is, or apologies if I make you do the decision and maybe it doesn't work out. Hey, and if it does work out, you're welcome. You're welcome. So yeah, that's what I think about Payne Haas. Now, let's go into my trades. Let's go into my keeps. Let's talk about a bit of holds and who I think are sells. Now, I personally think, I do not think Jenkins is a must sell, but I understand the sell with the price tag he has on his head. I'm reluctantly selling him because it frees up cash for me to make moves in the next 1 to 2 weeks, because I really want to start slowing down and being articulate with my trades when it comes through to like going only 1 trade a week. So first and foremost, Panthers have a ridiculous next 2 games. They have Parramatta and West Tigers. Then they have a bye. Then they have New Zealand. I think you could get away with trading him during the bye or New Zealand. I'm really, really scared of these next 2 games for Penrith. Not only because I know that the break even of 80 scares everyone from Jenkins, but if Nathan Cleary is playing, it scares me more. If he wasn't, I'd be like, okay, definitely get rid of Jenkins, 100%. But we're talking about a team that absolutely dominated a Queensland Maroons team in the State of Origin. And we're talking about, what, 3, 4 players? Is it more? 4 or 5 players from that team now coming back. And this is what made me think maybe I should trade Iongi. So we've got Brian To'o, we've got Yo, Edwards, Liam Martin. I feel like I'm missing out on one more, but I could be incorrect. Now, why I think also Jenkins can be a viable trade is I think if To'o does play this game, they're going to go right a lot, and you're going to see the Cleary, Edwards, To'o connection, and they might try and stay away from Lomax and just play this right side, which means they're staying away from Jenkins and Casey McLean a bit. So that's what kind of scares me in wanting to keep Jenkins as well. So I understand the trade completely. Now, if you didn't watch the Origin, I would say one of the best Queensland players was definitely Robert Toya. And I was skeptical about it, but I think this is one of the good decisions Billy Slater made. And I think Horsburgh not being picked was one of the worst. However, it is what it is, right? I think Toya is a massive, massive hold. I don't even care where you're going to. I really don't care. Even if you said to me, I'm going to a low max, I think that is still an incorrect play. I think you should definitely be holding Toya. Now, if he doesn't back up this Origin that's just happened, yes, I think you could trade him, but I still don't think he's a trade. Reason being is their attack is so right-hand sided. Him and Marky Mark are absolutely killing it. He's going to have a morale boost from also just playing in Origin, like being that young, playing in Origin and knowing that you actually played well and didn't make any mistakes, if not like just a minimal amount, because they did leak in some tries on that side. These are all factors that really scare me not to own him and let him go. So if we talk about the Roosters, remember they play every major bye. Sydney Roosters, here we go. So they do have the bye coming up. Remember that. So they verse Canberra, then they have a bye. But after that, they have Newcastle, North Queensland bye, West Tigers, St. George. So one thing, I don't think it will happen. I think Toya will definitely get picked next Origin, but I think he has an easy 50 to 100K extra to make. Now, why I like this is because I personally think that you can go from once Origin is over, close to being straight to a Toya to a Holmes, a Toya to a Lomax, to a Primo. He definitely has money to be made. His break even, what is it, -21? -22. The biggest thing we want to see here is him playing this week. That is the biggest thing, because I think they definitely win this game. I think they're going to have a really, really strong game. And if he plays this game, at least you're getting money in the bank. Then they have a bye. Then he will not be there. So at least I think you hold him for one more game, especially if he plays against Canberra, because you're literally throwing money away. Again, I don't know if he'll back up against North Queensland. He is a young guy, so he could just be completely fine from it. And maybe I'd say I doubt it though, because it's just, second Origin, it's tough. But there is no shame in holding this guy, I think. And the draw is super nice for them. We're talking about Newcastle, Canberra, Newcastle, North Queensland, West Tigers, St. George. Doesn't that look great for Teddy? So, yeah, it is insane. So I just wanted to speak about that lightly on Toya. Again, these are just my opinions. Another one, Billy Smith. Now, understand that he's not been performing great. I'm still holding him. I have got this little feeling that he's just going to get a little 60, something like that, maybe a 50 or 60, maybe get a bit of a 65. And then in this place where I've just read you out the draw, I still think they are going to be winning games. I still think they'll be winning 3 of these 5 games, and he'll be in the team. And you have to go with your gut in Supercoach. So my gut is telling me that I'm wasting a possible opportunity of seeing Billy Smith just make a bit more cash. He's at 39 break even. He looked much better last week. He was had a lot more runs. The only issue is the attack goes right side a lot. But at the end of the day, Roosters are playing great footy, especially with the outs they have, some of the injuries they have. So I think he's a sit and just wait. And I came to the conclusion, out of all these, I would just have to trade Jenkins. Now, you're mostly thinking, hey, what about Tamale? I think he's close to being a trade, and I think he's on the same page as Jenkins. If you're using it just to bank the cash, or you need the cash to maybe get to a Colo and go down a McCarthy, I completely understand that, and that is completely fine. One thing I will say is that they also have an absolutely beautiful draw. So Canberra, we know they're versing the Roosters this week. They have Souths, then they have a bye in round 15, which is a bit annoying. But then they have West Tigers, Newcastle, and St. George. I think this guy can just be a great, great player during the Origin period, and we can sort of start flicking him around whenever. But we know he has the capability of getting an 80, a 90, 100. We know. We've seen it. He is a very, very good player. He's in a very, very good team that are performing highly this season. I think he's also a bit of a hold, in my opinion. And again, we don't want to be changing too much. Now, from this, I don't think I'm missing anything else like too much. Like if you have Cameron Munster, because 5/8 is a bit of a hellhole, I can understand you trading him if he doesn't get named. But if he gets named, I think he's a massive play and hold. But again, 5/8 has been very, very tough this season. I'm just trying to think in my head who else we can really sort of talk about. Origin-wise, like I think the Gold Coast Titans players are still a hold. Your Fermor, your Tino, I don't think we'll be seeing them. I think out of all of them, they are completely fine. So they don't have any crazy. They have a bye in round 18, which is the exact same as what the Origin bye is. So that is completely fine. That works out well. So I think they're a hold, and I think Tino's been really ramping up too. So you can sit with that. But yeah, if there's someone I've missed out from Origin that actually has Supercoach relevancy, let me know. For me, also, obviously Cleary's a massive one, but I think he's a hold. If I don't have Cleary and he plays this week and next week coming into these two teams, I don't think I could actually watch the game. Against Parramatta and West Tigers, I would genuinely be scared. The way he played, he looked 100% fine for New South Wales. He was sidestepping, he was moving, he was offloading, he was making every single correct decision besides his goal kicking was a bit off. But man, he looked good. Also, side note, cracker of a moment when Cleary decided to let Lomax kick because he was having an off kicking, and then Lomax did the worst kick ever from basically a kick that you'd think you'd make. It was just a crack up because it was like, hey, take the reins. I'm kicking bad. You'll get this one. It was like complete opposite. So yeah, I think Cleary is a hold as well. And I think it's getting to the point where people are just over trading. And I know a few people who don't have boosts, and it's like, it's getting rough. So I still have one boost after my trades left. And that is completely it. Also, the AFB trade, let me know in the comments if you know something else that I don't know besides him being in a sling and mostly managing a bit of pain in his arm. He's versing Warriors next, his old team. I'm very confused by this trade, in all honesty, unless it's like something to do with an injury and he won't be playing. But I think he's going to be going absolutely ballistic in round 16. Is it round 16? No, sorry, no, round 14, right? Yeah. Sharks against New Zealand Warriors at Shark Stadium. Oh, man, like I see him going all out this game. So I hope he plays, and I hope I haven't wasted a week on him, because my only fear is that I could literally go AFB to Colo and just do a one trade this week and reserve a boost. That's my only play, but from what I've heard, it's just like a bit of a pain thing, and it's tolerating the pain through the sling. But let me know in the comments if you know anything else about that. All right, let's get to my trades and my captains. Now, you're going to notice here that Terrell May is not my captain. I'm going to go big this week. I also do want a bit of help from you guys in the comments about this one decision I'm making. I don't know if I'm making the wrong decision here. It could be. And it lets me have a bit more cash in the salary. But my trades goes as this for this week. Payne Haas out, Colo in, which I think everyone is mostly like, reasonable, that's fine. This frees up cash for me. Then I go Horsburgh to Labart, and that is through Dylan Lucas. And then I go Jenkins to Gutherson. Now, I do that via Fletcher Sharp going up to CTW, making room for Gutherson. Now, there's multiple reasons why I'm doing this. Now, we'll start off with this. Labart, I wonder if 389 is a bit too much, and I just go McCarthy and I bank the points. But I also don't want to set myself up for making another trade where Labart plays every single game for North Queensland. They have no more buys. He could actually come good. Well, let me take that back. I can't say he could actually come good. The guy's played one game for like a 38-39. North Queensland are going to have a bit of up and downs, but he could actually make me some money, and he could randomly become a cash cow. McCarthy, let me know in the comments because I'm not 100%. Is he just going out of the team when Marju is back and some of these players come back and then we're going to have to trade him? Like, there's no way he sits in this team, right? He's just there because of injuries. Let me know because I'm not 100% sure on this. Again, I can go Horsburgh to McCarthy and bank like another 100K, let's say. That sounds great. But I'm also just thinking if I go Labart, I then have someone that's just playing the whole year besides any injuries that happen and go from there. See what happens. And we know he's actually a very good player. Next is Gutherson. So the reason I've gone to Gutherson is I really like their next two games. I also really like the form that they're in. So we look here, we know what they've done. They had an absolutely blinder of a game. I think in the first game against New Zealand, Gutho got a 78. Then he got 116, I think, against Broncos. They've come into a bye. They're fresh up, and now they're coming up against Newcastle and Dolphins. I don't care if they win the game or they lose the game, but I think in both games here, there's going to be points. And I would say, if Ponga plays this, good on him, but he was getting rattled and battled and smashed in Origin. Again, it's Newcastle Knights. So I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game. Now, the only reason I'm going to veer away from this is if I see tomorrow that it is absolutely torrential rain, I'll most probably go, nah, I can't do this. And I might just jump up to like a Teddy or do something like that. Now, what this does for me is I'm hoping that I can make some cash till about round 17, where I can look at either staying on Gutho if he's doing absolutely amazing, or keeping Fletcher Sharp, bringing Fletcher Sharp back down, going to a low max. So there's a lot of avenues I can go, and I think St. George have the ability for Gutho to maybe make a bit of a comeback here and most probably be someone that people who held him go, that is a great hold through the period where a lot of people traded him out. Now, when I did trade him out the first time, I traded him out for Fletcher Sharp, I think, for memory, so it was well warranted. But this is where I'm going at the moment. And the only reason I say this is going to change is one, based off the weather for tomorrow night's game, if it's pissing down. And two, if there's any crazy like late outs that just come by news tomorrow. Like, for example, let's just say if it's, let me look at my team. That would help. Let's just say that it's like Tino has a 4-week injury from Origin that no one knew about, or something like that, or just one of the Origin players has had this random injury that we didn't know about, and now they're out. So that's all that I'm talking about. But that's where I sit at the moment. Now, captains wise, I'm going very, very risky. Maybe not very risky, but away from the norm of, I think, going Terrell May and people that may go Payne Haas or something like that, or a Dylan Lucas now, or a Fletcher Sharp. I'm going Vice Captain Gutho, Jubilee Stadium against Newcastle, into Pappenhausen Storm against the Gold Coast Titans. Now, two things will change about these captains. One, if any like crazy Origin dropouts happen from these teams. Gutho, I don't really need to worry about. But Pap, if like Munster isn't playing, Liero's not playing, maybe I'll go, I'll just go on to May. I was also tinkering with captaining Colo. I think he could have an absolutely massive, nice week of like an 80. That would be solid. But I think there's ceiling that I want to chase here. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I vice captained Sharp last week. It worked out. And I'm going to do the same. I'm going to follow my gut. So that is my trades in a nutshell. You've seen it all. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I think also great captains targets this week. One is definitely Scotty Drinkwater against the West Tigers. That is absolutely huge. Again, Gutho, you could go Ponga if he does play. I think I like Fletcher Sharp more than Ponga if you did have to make a play in that game. That's just my personal take. Pappenhausen, huge. We mentioned Scotty Drinkwater. Turbo not playing. I wouldn't go anyone from this game, but I don't even think I'd go Payne Haas because I think he's going to have reduced minutes. And I don't think Garrick and Olakau'atu have really been showing enough to go there and put an orange or blue band on them. Really like Colo for Souths against New Zealand. I think that is a great little smoky pick we could look at. Nathan Cleary is an absolutely massive one. The problem is if he actually doesn't play, I've lost opportunity at two major captain choices. So if I went vice captain Gutho and he gets like a 60 or a 70, I'm like, cool, but not captain worthy. And then I don't go Paps because I'm like, I'm going to do Cleary, and then all of a sudden he isn't playing. I'm really left short, so that's just based off my team. And then obviously I think one of the biggest ones for the week is Tedesco, which is absolutely scaring me, to be honest with you. I don't even want to watch that game because some fullbacks scored very well. Pap scored 80 against Canberra. Even Connor Tracy scored like 76 against them or something when Bulldogs played them. That just scares me, considering his recent points. So, yeah, they would be my captaincy picks. You could go for a cheeky Lomax. I just think Penrith are going to come out blasting this week. It's a must-win game for them. Off the Origin win, they've got like 4 or 5 Origin players. I think it's just beware. And yeah, that's my take for trades. Origin players. I hope I haven't missed any other Origin players that maybe did need a mention. Super hard. I'm just trying to think of like the lineups and everything around it, but I think we covered most of them. Let me know if we didn't. And I hope this video has really helped you out, guys. I really do, because I know I go on a bit and I love having a bit of a chat, but that's my thinking around everything. And I'm also anti-podding with Gutho a bit. He's still at 10% ownership, but that is still sort of pod territory, where everyone I think is like Drinky, Teddy, Paps, and I have Paps anyway. So let me know what you think about all the comments I made. Let me know the trades you're doing. Let me know what you're thinking. Maybe you've got a pod that I haven't seen. Just let me know. I hope you've enjoyed the video, lads. It is 12:15 a.m., so it's time for me to get inside, get some Z's. And I pray the weather is good in the Gold Coast, because I had a weekend planned with a mate that's actually flying up, and everything we were doing is outside. So please, please pray for us that the Gold Coast weather is beautiful, takes a turn for the better, and we can get outside and hit a golf ball and have some fun so he doesn't waste his money coming up here. Hey guys, much love. Like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see more of my videos, they happen 2 or 3 times a week around NRL Supercoach. Much love, good luck, and nothing but green arrows, boys. Peace.